Hi, Luciana. Hi, Brian. Hi, everyone. How are we doing?
Doing great. Thank you. Very excited to be here with you and Brian, my co-author. We haven't had a video call in a while.
Aw, because when you're co-authors, there's a lot of collaboration. I can only imagine. But I'm it's an understatement of the day, right? So excited to have you guys, and we're going to be celebrating your amazing course on Chessable, Queens of the Chessboard. I am so excited. I bought your course and I'm working through it. More to be discussed later in the stream. Um, just wanted to
Thank you for
say,
the support, Laura. By the way, I know you were one of the first people who bought the course. Thank you.
Cheers with my Nespresso to you guys. Yay! I can tell that we're good. I'm just checking the chat. Hi, Watson. Oh, thank you so much for subbing us. Okay. Yay! Can you hear us okay? Because I know on Zoom, I want to make sure that you can hear all three of our voices. So in chat, if anyone can just confirm that you can hear us, I'll feel very calm and zen. Haven't heard Brian yet. Brian, yay! National Master.
I can talk a little bit to make
Bryan
sure.
Tillis, I'll give you the stage. Go.
All right. Okay. I got the rest are good from Watson, so I think we're good to go.
Excellent.
Start with a bit
seeing this. I'm trying to see the chat. Sorry.
That's okay. I got us under control. I just wanted to make sure that we could be heard and seen, and those are two priorities of a small streamer like me. Thank you so much, Luciana and Brian, for being on my channel. And I just miss everyone in general. This is my first stream in a while. It feels good to be back already. Yay! Okay, it looks like we're good. So with no further ado, I wanted to make sure that I write in the chat that these are the two co-authors of an incredible new course called Queens of the Chessboard on Chessable. I put it in the chat. And today we're going to learn a little bit about how the idea came to be, the amazing, progress this is going to do for our girls and women in chess. And also we're going to watch a really interesting game that I only saw today thanks to National Master Bryan Tillis, and we're going to learn some really interesting what could have happened in chess history if dun dun dun. So stay tuned for that. And as always, after my guests have to go because they're busy, I'll be on to play viewers some chess. But man, am I rusty. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, can I ask either of you just to chat about how this amazing idea to write about the women champions, the original, came to be for this Chessable course?
Well, I think ladies first.
Sure. So last year, so I've been working with Chessable for a year and 10 months now. And at some point last year, I was already becoming more familiar with the process of, the author creation. And I was seeing this as a Chessable staff member. And I was very impressed because of the attention to detail, the high standards, that the high quality is the goal to create all of these courses. So I was looking at it kind of like from close enough, but also kind of from far away because I wasn't, an author yet. And I kind of wanted to become an author. So at some point I had a conversation with Geert van der Velde, who is the CEO of Chessable. And I recall asking him like, hey, I don't know, I remember sharing with him that I would like to become an author. And he, who is a very, very creative mind, if there is one thing you need to know about him, is that he's a visionary. He has the best ideas. He has always the best ideas to bring to the table. And he knew I don't know, he came up with, you know what, something that we don't have in Chessable, and I can see you doing is, kind of like my great predecessors, but looking at the women's world champions. And I was fascinated with the suggestion because, women empowerment, women in chess, like that's right up my alley. And so I was like, yes, I'll do it. Now, it just so happens that I don't know. There are some projects that I take with a lot of excitement, but they take me a while to execute. So the idea was to kind of launch this last year, but for different reasons, like it didn't happen that way. And actually, in retrospect, it worked out well because I think that the final product, the product of this brewing for longer, was something that I was really proud of. And so instead of being launched last year, it ended up being launched, last month in a whole new year. And it was launched around March. It was launched on March 8th, which is International Women's Day, which is like great because we are celebrating with this course, with this project, the trailblazer queens of our chess history, which, by the way, and one of the reasons why I love being part of this is that we are kind of contributing to this sort of gap of literature, because there is a lot to be known. There is so much material written about the world champions from even, Murphy, who wasn't officially a world champion. We all competitive chess players, professional chess players, we grow up knowing so much about them and learning from their model games and even the history of their lives. But we don't have access to the same type of information very readily available for the women's world champions. So contributing to that was, I think the one of the most rewarding things for me. And as for Brian's the collaboration with Brian, I feel very lucky. Experienced author, whereas for me this was my very first Chessable course. He has written best-selling courses before. He's the author of Master the French Defense and Opening Oddities, which, by the way, if you follow the FIDE World Championship, the Chess World Championship, the match between Nepo and Ding, this course was the only one who had H3 in move 7, I think, contemplated. So what a visionary. I think that speaks very highly of Brian. So
that's incredible, Brian.
It was great to collaborate with him and have him on board, because he did infuse the course with a wealth of knowledge, the things that also I didn't feel very familiar or comfortable with, like all of the openings, for instance, and then even the part of the historical account for the women who came before the women's world champions. Like he was the one who found all of that information. So yeah, I mean, this course took a while, but like I said, in hindsight, it was for the best. It really allowed for it to be something that I'm very happy with. And Brian, I think you I don't know, share.
I just love that. Sorry to cut you. That's incredible. I feel emotional. I'll talk more. Let's hear Brian. This is the co-author's time.
Yeah, it was, we were talking at nationals as we were traveling around the country, and when Luciana started talking about the project, I immediately felt passionate about it, that this is an extremely important book, and I felt that it was mandatory that it was done right. And certain books have made such an impact in chess culture and history, and I wanted to give elements not just of a history text, because when you pick up predecessors, those books aren't for everyone. And we wanted to pay an homage to predecessors, but at the same time, as an educator, said, okay, what's going to work on Chessable? I like deeply annotated games. I like giving a modern twist on it, showing what opening trends are today and giving nods to other popular courses. But the secondary element of the book was training in the style of the woodpecker method. And I have such respect for tactical study and training. And we wanted to pull elements. So they're all practical puzzles directly from the games of these great champions. And that was important to have that element of we are recognizing the history, but it's something that's accessible to every level of player. So there's something for any chess player to enjoy in this book. I thought it had to be significant, and that's the only way to do it. And I guess that's it on my part.
I really like how you said that, Brian, that if it was going to be done, it had to be done right. And, after buying your course, my goodness, so much content is here. And without further ado, if it's cool with you guys, I thought we could look at a game from your course.
In a way, I think that
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that the move that Harriet did, Queen B6, is yes, it's bad, but I think it's tempting because also it seems that it's pinning the bishop, which is not well defended. Now, obviously, this falls because the next move does defend the bishop and creates an attack, but I don't know. I think that was the tempting factor for her, and of course, at the same time, is attacking that poison pawn.
Yeah.
I'm sure that at that time there wasn't such thing as the concept of poisoned
I know.
pawn.
Isn't that funny? Like when you say that, chess players, we know what that means, but I forget we're watching a game from 1894. Like, so cool to think of that. And I guess when if you are a newer chess player, we're talking about this poison pawn over here, and it looks, the idea of like, be careful what you wish for, it might come true, like nothing's free in life. So yeah, let's see what happened next. Let's see. All right, so pawn to e5, like Brian kind of foreshadowed there. Poison pawn. Poison
Yes,
pawn.
but knight f5 was even stronger than
Oh
than
yes,
e5.
thank you for this would have been amazing. Queen and I wonder, queen takes b2, knight takes bishop check, king e7, and then I don't know, bishop h6. Is that cool? Is that crazy? Definitely feeling a little rusty. I gotta get back in my game. I need an over the board tournament.
Before, maybe.
Let's see. So if they went here,
I have a little bit of a delay, but let me try to visualize it. So knight f5, queen takes b2,
yeah,
knight takes g7,
yeah,
king f8, and then I think just queen d2, and the queen may start running into trouble there.
Ooh, see, that's great. Like, we want to just save our pieces, but remember, if you can trap a bigger piece. So if we want to trap the queen, gosh, this, maybe Luciana, you'll relate to this, or maybe you too, Brian, but Luciana, you have a young child. I don't know. I have young kids, and that show, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie? If you don't, it's a cute show. But I feel like right now my chess brain is like, if I go there, then yeah, I don't know. It's been a long year, my friends. That's all I have to say.
Instead of queen d2, I like bishop d4. Because I'm also threatening knight d6 check and bishop h8. And if black captures, knight takes d4, queen takes d4 with the same threat, knight d6. So the queen, either the queen or the bishop are protecting the knight on g7, but also the knight on c3.
Luciana is on, I think that's what Bearded Chessmaster is saying in chat, that Lucy, that's funny. I don't know. It's on they're saying you're on your side. Okay. So you think bishop d4, and then you think, I'm a little lost, but that's exciting for me. I need to get back into my calculating. So you think bishop d4 here, and Brian, you think queen d2 is better?
Yeah.
To be
Bishop
determined.
d4 is forcing, and it has its merits. The only thing, I do feel like both continuations have to be winning. If
Yeah.
we have an open position, I really like having the bishops in the
I
long
know,
run.
that dark square bishop. And I mean, I don't know, I really want to trap that queen. Like, if I can be certain that after king takes knight, is a3 happening? Because then the queen's like trapped. No? Maybe?
So after on queen d2, what I was thinking was say king takes g7 because it seemed natural, and then rook ab1, queen a3,
Oh,
rook
yeah.
b3, and then after queen a5, I couldn't see much further, but I felt that bishop b6 was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't see if the queen was trapped there, but
No, that's good stuff. That's really good stuff. All right, let's keep on going so we get to the good
Yeah, that
stuff.
wins too.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay, so was this where we were at ish?
I think we were on move 10 e5.
Okay.
E5.
Let me do that. All right, cool. So then, oops, what am I doing? E5. Okay. So E5 takes knight E4. Castles. Ooh, can we guess the move in chat while I plug in my other computer? So that my chat doesn't leave. There we go. White to move. Let's find a really nice move for white here. There we go. Let's see. Chat. All right. Make sure I'm up to date on our chat.
The chat's saying potentially knight d6. And I mean, it is a natural follow-up after knight e4 and looking to seize a great square.
So we're considering, remember, always consider at least 2 candidate moves. That's one idea. And I don't know without giving it away, but if you were listening to that last variation that Brian kind of walked us through, right? What should be your whole goal here? Like, what are we trying to take advantage of? And Luciana mentioned that poison pawn earlier, right? So, all right, let's see. But also a3 or knight b3. Very nice, Watson. Knight b3 is what was played. White finds an excellent way to harass the queen. Queen a3. And again, take a moment and look at this position. And keep those forcing moves coming. Remember, forcing moves, checks, captures, and threats. Roar. And I can't wait. Well, when we get to the end, you'll I heard this today and I was like, wow, that's really interesting to know like what actually happened to the players after this game, especially one player. So stay tuned. So Watson said, Bearded Chessmaster wrote bishop c5, and then knight to c3. And then Watson says knight c5 followed by bishop c1. All right. Well, Craig, Bearded Chessmaster, you should follow. He has some great streams as well. I'm going to shout him out again. Yes, bishop c5 was played. And it's just hard for that queen to survive. Just get that shown. Okay. Alrighty, so the white bishop has now attacked the black queen. And where can this queen go? I spy 2 spots. Queen a4 or queen b2. If queen b2, then the queen is now going to be trapped. So I wonder if we could just play queen d2 and slowly but surely go rook b1, unless there's something better. Well, that's what was played. So actually, we'll see what happens after queen a4. Trying to see here. Oh, even these types of things are good. You know, people say, another great mentor of mine is National Master Dan Heisman. And I like how he says, like, doing puzzles that are not super hard, but just for your quick intuition is helpful. I know, I feel blind too, but just knight c3, that's it. Like, and even just like listening to you today, Brian, I'm starting to remember, like, you know, it sounds cliche, but chess can, if your thought process is strong, the moves can be simple, you know, it's like, but seeing them. So knight c3 literally just traps that queen. So in this position, Harriet played queen b2. And here, I discounted the move that was played, to be honest. But it's strong. And then, yeah, I'll give chat a minute or here. If you don't trap the queen, the position is still so good. Yeah, but we need that queen.
And I think it's...
Okay, sorry, I finally was able to reset my password and I can enter the
Yay!
speech now.
So you're involved with us now. Great.
Yes. I mean, I was, but it was hard.
I love it. Well, you all had to deal with my window capture issues. Listen, it's all good. And now maybe I can, you know, convince you to come back on stream, Luciana and Brian, anytime that we all are in sync.
I love that. And Laura, we've been talking about it. I think that, you know, I have a little one. You have three, and
yeah,
and it's funny because I think that you know, you and I play these Pan American Youth Championships.
Yes.
Many years ago, and I feel like at that time, I don't know, I felt like very confident, you know, like as a young player at that time, that was, you know, making some waves and getting some achievements internationally. Like, I don't know, it was like this sort of different angle, no? Like you were, or at least I felt like I was the young maverick doing things, and it's a bit humbling now that there are these, you know, tech difficulties or even, you know, the time crunches that happen because of, I don't know, kids.
Absolutely. No, I really I'm so glad that we reconnected after all those years, and now to connect with you, Brian, amazing. Even as you say that, like, we have to plan, because I have to, you know, at 2:00 I have to leave. I know some of us have to leave then, because I have to pick up my kid, and you know, and I'm sure we all have busy lives, but very cool. Many roads to Rome, it seems. Yes. Yeah, so you can see the chat now, Luciana. Perfect. All right, well, look, I'll give you some hype train there. Go follow Luciana on Twitter. You can see all the great projects she does with Chessable, and go ahead and give Brian a follow as well. And Brian makes incredible YouTube content. And I can't wait, now that I've connected with him, to ask him some tricks of the trade, you know, the next time I get to talk with you. All right, let's keep this beautiful game going. Alrighty, so Rook B1 was played. Many roads to Rome. Queen takes A2, and then Rook A1 again. Queen B2. And I'm going to give the stage, if it's cool, to you, Brian, and thank you for this incredible game, and, you know, just giving all these great variations. It's like a nice lesson now I have a nice lesson for some of my advanced kiddos and adults.
It's something that when looking at this game, you could see the quality of play and ideas from Nelly. And, you know, with the E5, even though she neglected knight F5, I felt that she understood the complications with grabbing the poison pawn, and everything is relatively forced. And if I remember correctly, these were all like engine top choice moves throughout this critical time period in the game. And with this next move being played, there was an article from the New York Sun that covered the match in this moment. says the way that Miss Showalter spun her net around the adversary's queen was a little cabinet piece of art, and even her husband, the distinguished chess player, could not help but congratulate his wife upon her clever work. It's just interesting, the writing and the difference of the time period in the 1800s, but
Yeah.
this series of moves is absolutely beautiful, and the queen is trapped by force.
And you wonder how many moves ahead Nelly saw all this. It seems so like it wasn't by random, you know.
Right.
Beautiful. So bishop a3. And then, yeah, the queen is forced to desperado here, yeah? Queen takes a1. And when you sent me this game this morning, Brian, it's so cool that we literally connected like yesterday through Luciana. Love the collabs. And now, and you know, I was looking at the game and I was like, oh, this is nice. I guess it finishes on this move, you know? But I'm still going to stay quiet. We still have one more surprise with this game. I was like, oh, that's great. You know, up a whole, up a queen for a rook, but two, you know, I'm looking here now. And like that is a pass pawn, you know, I don't know. Objectively, this is completely one for white, but it's not over till it's over, right? That type of deal.
So a good standpoint for the viewers, when you find yourself in the hole like this with black, when we're doing the comparison, almost everyone is taught when you're up material, you simplify the win. And I get a lot from my students when you're up material, they say trade down, but I think that's an incomplete statement. Simplifying the win implies trading off your bad pieces for your opponent's good pieces.
I like that. I'm stealing that. Sorry, not sorry. I love that. It's less, it's so, I'm going to write that down in my little notes tab. Keep going.
And in this case with black, the best chance you have is to get coordinated and try to get out of the bind. Whereas with white, it's so easy to rush these types of positions when you know you're winning.
Yeah.
And that's how you'll see a huge advantage dissipate over time. So in this case, the thing that really sticks out to me is that C8 bishop that's locked out of the game. If we can keep the pieces terrible, it should be pretty trivial game to play at that point. And we don't have too many more notes, as the technique that Nelly shows here is very on point.
Nice. Yeah, like thanks for saying that. I love that. You know, I'm guilty of telling students, oh yeah, I asked them, you're up material. What's your goal? To trade. And I'm like, great, let's move on to the next thing. But you're right, like it's too simplistic, right? You got to trade the bad pieces, and you cannot get overconfident.
And then from the opposite perspective as well, we have, you need to keep tension and keep fighting pieces on the board to get back into the game when you're down material. And that's something that's often not thought about. Almost always when we're studying, we're looking at the perspective from the winning side. And that's a theme that I've noticed when studying in games with students. The students that have the most, say, upward mobility in chess with growth and strength, they study the perspective from the losing side. Because not only do you understand how the attack is coming at you, but how to stop it as well. So you get a more full perspective. I think it's always harder to look at it from the defensive perspective.
Yeah.
There is a game in the course that really comes to mind in these lines, because this was part of a match between the world champion number 2 and the world champion number 3. Their names are Lyudmila Rudenko and Elizaveta Vikova. Both were very strong Soviet players. They had won the Soviet championship many times, the Moscow championship many times, and even the Leningrad championship, I think. So they're playing as part of the World Championship match, and the younger one, well, actually both were in their 40s, but the younger one had a positional advantage, but very quickly, because of a blunder, because of a mistake, she lost the exchange. And so she went from being like, controlling the game to being on the defending side. But she kept at it. She was fighting. We have at the account that she was. I mean, of course, all world champions have to have in common this passion for chess, this persistence. But she was for real like a very. She had this very fighting spirit, and so she continues to play. She's down an exchange. She's down a pawn soon after, and she starts like creating these opportunities literally from scratch because there wasn't much going on, and ends up swindling and winning the game. I think that at that point, and something also like a constant during the creation of this course was, for me, it was very interesting to see how these players were had to have a very fine understanding of pieces. So to the point of Brian, to be able to understand when some exchanges were good, when some trades were better than others. So I don't know. I thought it was very interesting in that game how, yes, the side that had the exchange up, I wanted to trade pieces, but the other one was like holding for dear life to the few pieces that were left on the board. That was I'm pretty sure that this game that I'm talking about is in chapter 4, the one that belongs to the world champion number 3, to Elisaveta Vikova. So check it out. White ends up winning, but it was like a sort of roller coaster.
Oh wow, I'm excited. Yeah, like again, really definitely everyone who's watching, just check out their course. I'll put that in the chat again. There's just so much amazing content, and something I'm trying to do this summer I'm going to be like hosting like mini camps for my students, and I'm definitely not going to fall into the trap of not including women players in our games because they have to see themselves, right? And this will be perfect. So excited to have this at my fingertips. Yeah, so in the chat, some people are wondering like what happened. We're getting some reactions, and I'm trying to stay quiet, not my strong suit. So yeah, I'm gonna just like keep moving pieces and let you do the talking. Let's see. I've also adjusted my haven't been streaming in a little while, but now I'm feeling back to myself. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Luciana and Brian. This has been so fun. We still have a little time left together. Yeah, so there went there. Tell me if I should pause, Luciana or Brian. Okay, so like again, okay, so here, interesting, right? I mean, trade when you're up, but that bishop. But I notice, I
To be
don't know.
selective, not any sort of trade.
Exactly. That's the bad bishop. Why take it? I guess what would have been better though, if you're gonna, my thing is, I'm always like, if you're gonna critique it, like find something better, right? So like, okay, knight takes bishop is not good. What is better? No. Now there's 3 attackers on e5 for black, and we've got 2 defenders. So yeah, they're about to take us. So then what do we do about it, right? Do we go bishop f3? Okay, and then pawn takes pawn, bishop takes knight? Maybe. Well, this happened. Again, not the best, but maybe not the worst. Bishop, okay. All right, it gets back to d6, knight d8. Happen next. I don't know why I'm lagging a little bit. Oh, because I'm looking at, yeah, I see the struggles real, Brian, with the lag. That's one thing. I'd love to figure out a better system. Sorry, the little bit of lag. All right, we get to this position, and alrighty. Knight takes pawn. I was watching this, and I was like, seems reasonable. Correct me if you notice, like, look at that. The queen's attacking the knight. They take. And now it's getting a little stressful because, I don't know, maybe it's still winning, but it's like not clear. we're getting to this. I'm gonna give the floor to you, Brian. This is the rook d8, right?
Okay.
I'll give it a chance, yeah.
And at this point in the match, or actually, there were a few more games that took place because this was game 4. At the end of game 5, the match was stopped. Nelly was leading 3-1-1. And the match was stopped as Nelly became very ill and the match was never resumed. And something that really stuck out to me when doing research on this was there's several accounts that point out that because Harriet was a friend of Nelly, she never claimed victory by forfeit. And to me, that showed an extreme amount of class and sportsmanship. As Harriet was the professional needing to make a living by competing and was down in the match 1-3 and could have claimed match victory here, but chose not to.
Yeah, that
It's like
really
supporting women 1800 version. No, I mean, that's, yeah.
Nepo, please.
I think.
And when we're looking at it, it was a number of years past and the first women's international event took place. So we have the top 2 Americans playing here, and on the other continent, we have Mary Rudge. And Mary Rudge was easily the strongest woman who competed in the international event, as she scored, I believe it was 17.5 out of 18 in that tournament. Now, Harriet Worrell finished in 3rd, I believe, a few points behind. And Nelly was taking Harriet to task in this match. So I do feel from the level of play shown in the games from this match that if Nelly would have been able to compete in that international tournament, it would have looked very different in chess history.
That is so interesting. And yeah, when you told, I've heard the story now from your first time, and like I'm still kind of like, wow, she got to this position and was ill, right? I mean, it's 1894. Life was intense, right? Like, but yeah, this was amazing. I know we only have a little time left. Now we're on who's rooting for who, Nepo or Ding. Go feel free to write in the chat how you feel. I've been trying to catch some of the match this week. We've got some Team Ding here from Mom's Gambit, which is our amazing Luciana. Sorry, I'm Team Nepo, my household. Oh, I just did exclamation mark Nepo. There you go. That's where my brain is. Sorry, not sorry. But go Ding. Like, let's have a match, right?
In any case, I mean, it's pretty exciting that today Ding is charging back, no? And the game was pretty cool too.
Team Ding here. All right, you would say that, right? Amazing. What I thought we could do, I want to respect my amazing guests' like valuable time. I'd like to let them tell you where you can find them and any projects they might be doing. And then I think we're gonna say goodbye, and I might hop back on after I reset the Zoom for maybe a couple of fun little games before I pick up my daughter. And I hope to stream a couple, like once or twice a month. That's kind of my max, but it's better than 0. And I'll definitely post our YouTube once I create that. So if you only caught part of this this interview, you can kind of see more in our conversation. So yeah, I want to give the floor back to you guys before we say goodbye to our viewers.
Luciana, you want to go first?
I think that this whole creation of a course has been a very enlightening experience in so many ways. Like, to me, knowing that Bettermentic and and Nona Gaprindashvili and the ladies in between had like very brilliant games, has been great. I think particularly, the Nona chapter to me has been very inspiring after studying their games and their stories, especially Nona's. I've been like very compelled to play a lot of sacrifices in my games online. Hopefully soon on the board too. But anyway, the point that I was trying to make is that I really enjoyed making this course. So if there is opportunity, if there is enough interest and everything, I would like to make the sequel with Bryan for the next batch of world champions.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, and it's definitely on my list. This will be my 10th book I'm finishing up right now, and this one is going to be on the Benoni, and it's a simplified repertoire. So I have done my best to find theoretically viable variations that have a lot fewer branches, if possible. Reader, and it's been a relatively new concept on Chessable. There are like 100 variations for an entire course, or simplified repertoires. So I'm very, very excited about that. And I think it pairs well with some of my other courses. In the Master of the French Defense text, it started with a few variations, and it kind of turned into what Watson had in his French text, where I've got, at this point, every critical variation covered. So you have options depending upon your style as a player, and I built out a roadmap. If you want to play aggressively, more with the Winnower, or very solid, more with the Rubinstein, you have that. But I think the course that's going to pair best with the upcoming Benoni course will be my Alekhine course. And that one, I played the Alekhine for many years. That's kind of my pride and joy opening, even though it may not be holding up the 4 pawns attack and say correspondence level. It's still such a fun opening to play, and it has great surprise value. As almost every E4 player, I would say 70% of their games are either E5 or C5. So with the Alekhine being, say, 5th, 6th choice, I often find even very strong players, masters, they haven't studied it seriously, and you're able to get very strong positions out of the opening.
And I have to say that actually, Bryan, when he makes a course, I think that's one of the beautiful points of Chessable is that you can get, the book. If there is any question, if there is any sort of feedback that you have about the book, any update that needs to get done, Bryan is incredibly responsive. He makes sure that any feedback or any comment by a community member in Chessable related to his books, to his courses, that these are answered in a very timely way. And I think that is something very it deserves a lot of praise for that, because well, you obviously cannot do that with books, but the fact that you get like a master answering your points that quickly and that effectively is amazing.
I am definitely a workaholic. But I think one of my favorite posts I've had recently, a student who had been studying my Master of the French Defense course since 2018 was having an issue with some problem moves. And he commented that, asking a question. And I got back to him within an hour and gave him a thorough explanation, and then updated the course because I saw that people were having trouble with this key moment in the middle of a variation. And the user responded and gave a very nice review that's like, I've been studying this and struggling to learn it for a few years now. I ask a single question, the author gets back to me nearly immediately. I like to stick to that reputation that Chessable is a fantastic community as well as resource for studying, but it makes it great from the people. And that's why I'm so inspired to work hard on Chessable, because it's just such a fantastic community. That's it.
Oh, this has been amazing.